not like I wouldn't include you in this build because it's going to be fun. Some parts are starting to come in. The alternator came in, super smooth. I know you're thinking, why a new one? You could have got a used one from a thrift store. I mean, from an auto place scrapyard for next to nothing. I paid $109 for it. I figured, might as well, if you're going to do this, get one that's brand new. And then you don't have to run into any other problems that an old one would have. Not to mention that the bearings are super smooth. As you can see, hopefully you can see that there's 2 fans in there, so it should be more than cool enough. This one is rated for, I believe, 106 amp. And by looking at the wires, it definitely will take that. So I'm not too worried about it overheating and burning out. We're not going to have to worry about tracing any wires because there's the 3 phases right there. And I'm guessing it's tied on the other end because there's no other wires than that. There's just 3. This just slips off by the feel of it. It's just like snapped on there by the sounds of it. Now, if I install this on the bike, I'm going to basically get rid of the hub motor. So I'm going to leave this till the last moment. I'm not going to do it with the hub motor because it'd be next to impossible to carry. I got to carry it up the stairs every time I want to take it out. And this weighs as much as a hub motor, so yeah, not going to do it. Got the old beast out. We're going to be adapting this to go with that. I got a pile of hull sensors here. I don't know if they're for a hub motor or for a throttle. We'll have to figure that out. I got some wire here that we're going to rewire it with, heavy duty stuff. Some other parts have been coming in. I've been going through some of my small parts. You can see there, bearings. I got this in the mail the other day. Obviously it doesn't fit. Should have checked the size before I ordered it. Delay. But it just gives me an idea of what I'm going to be using. This is what is it, 36 or 35 inch 35 chain. It's actually really nice. So this or a 420 chain. But I think 420 chain will be overkill. This is perfect for what I want. It was only about I believe it was $19 for the whole bag. It's brand new. This is the same type of 39 sprocket size. Anyway, eventually, not right now, but I'm going to order the proper one, and then that'll be going right there. And then I'll take care of that. I still got to get the rear sprocket. The only thing is the sprocket that goes with that chain has to be special ordered on out of China, so it might take a while to get here. Other parts I've ordered that haven't come in yet, I've ordered a freewheel crank. Basically, either going to mount it to the back wheel with the chain up to here, or the chain down to here to the crank. I'm not too sure yet. But, yeah. That's what's been going on right now. I've been just going over my head what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, like I said, I'm just going to keep ordering parts. But this will eventually be all this stuff here. I'll get you over here so you can see that. All this stuff here will be removed. Obviously, all this will be removed. We're just going to have the big controller here again. Going to clean these wires up. We're not going to need dual motor. It's nice that it worked with the relays. It's good for future reference. But what we're going to do is, this piece here is steel, and I know it's not going to rock back and forth. We're going to mount the motor, well, depending on if it goes to the crank or the back wheel. We're going to mount it in there. It'll be low profile, almost underneath the underneath this, so you won't really see it. We'll paint it black. It'll either be chained directly to the crank or to the back wheel. I don't know if I'm going to gear it down or not. I don't think I should have to. It's going to be so freaking powerful. To get it to mount with this mounting here, we're basically going to make a U piece of metal that will just go like that, and you drill 2 holes, bolt it, and then we'll set the metal on here, grind this off, we'll bolt it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld around it just so it doesn't rock. And then that should be more than strong enough to keep it from going like this. And plus we have this one here that we can run a bar over to here to give it a little bit more stability. But that's going to work good in there. And basically, it's going to be a bicycle with just this motor on it. And it'll be definitely lighter than the hub motor I have. Not to mention more powerful. I want to show you this. Remember the battery? It is finished. And it takes the full charge, 20 volts at 18 amp hours. This was the bag that I got with the hub motor that I laughed at of Walmart. I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's no way that battery would fit in there, and it fits perfectly. Like, it's almost as if it was made for it. The only thing I dislike is the stupid ring they put on the bottom. Depending on your packet, it might short it out. I put some tape over it for now, the extreme duct tape, just for testing purposes. What I'm going to do is cut a piece of plexiglass and with some clear plexi on each side of the battery. That way I can monitor the tabs and the wiring and everything else when I take it out. But when I'm finished, I should be able to make it so the I want to make it so this is hanging out, so I don't have to unzip it every time. But at the moment, it doesn't really fit too well. We'll figure it out. That's about it, guys. Like I said, I'm about to get started on this. I'm going to pull the back off. Let's put this in the vise. Pull the back off and see what we're dealing with. I'm not going to do anything major on it today. At the most, I'm going to just basically rewire the exciter in the middle, or the coil for the magnet, for 12 volts out, or 12 volts in, I mean, and the 3 phases out. We'll got everything else that's in here. Eventually, I'm going to be I need to get a crank puller, and I need to separate the core. I'm going to pull the windings out of it, and I'm going to be putting 2 magnets in there to replace that, which you can get off of Amazon for like 15 bucks. It's not a big deal. That way I don't have to use the 12 volts in. What else? We're going to be putting holes in it eventually. I did some research on that. A lot of people were putting them at the end of the stator, and obviously it's not going to get a good reading there because of the way the poles are lined up. So we're going to put it in the center, but that's down the road. Let's just get this thing open and have a look at what we're dealing with now. Can't imagine I'm going to do too much today. This is snapped in here. Keep it from unsnapping here. Oh, this gives you the illusion like it's going to fall off. It's the my vise isn't mounted properly on the bench. I can't find the bolts for it. There we go. Just didn't want to break this backing because I want to reuse it, obviously. And I don't want it to fall off in mid-flight either. Take it out. There we go. Well, doesn't get easier than that. So basically, we just have to clip it there, there, and there. And that is it. All the rest of the wiring is in there. There's nothing else. This has to come out. And this rectifier here has to come out. Okay, we're gonna have to find. I have to find the special wrench for that. Give me a minute. And hopefully that's it. Yeah, you see these people working on these on the on YouTube. Do a search on alternator e-bikes. A lot of people are using really, really, really trashed ones. Like, I mean trashed. Which I don't get. You don't buy a trashed hub motor and modify that. I don't mind paying the $100 and whatever for a new one. I'm not buying someone else's problem. I'll leave the a link to this model here, because obviously this will be a much easier one to modify, because there's only 3 wires here. You don't have to all 6, which some of them have, and that can be confusing for some. Plus, it's in a cheaper range. Okay. Oh man, they put a lot of... I mean, this is half decent alternator. They put a lot of Loctite on these screws. They don't want this thing to fall apart. Won't be cracking it open today, so don't plan on it anyway, because I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this brushes. Okay, we'll start cutting some wires here. I'm guessing this is the regulator. Cool. Not gonna need that. I'm gonna cut this right here. I want to retain the clip that's there's 2 wires. Actually, there's 2 wires per pole, and I don't want to cut it here, because then I'll have to re-sand it and everything else. Just a waste of time. Well, that's not bad. They attempted to grease the back of it to cool the rectifiers. Well, they kind of failed on that. That would overheat. It's so warped. There was a people complaining about failure rate on these, so I can see why. Okay, let's clean this up, because we're not going to be putting that back. I'll keep the brushes in here for now. I guess it doesn't matter which way it goes, or does it? That's the negative and positive there. And there's your brushes in there. Why does it look like that brush isn't even touching anything? I want to take a look at that. Okay, we're gonna have to get out the big one. This is a, I can't remember how many, 500 watt or even more. I'll put it somewhere where it's not going to burn anything. Next, what we'll do is we'll just let it hang. Takes a bit for it to heat. Ouch! For it to heat up. Don't want to burn the wood. We're good. All right. So we're gonna make the center one red, and then the other 2 black. Doesn't really matter. I'm using some half decent wire. Now there's a little trick to this. What we need to do is find some wire that's somewhat rigid or stiff that we wrap around that. Now this will work. Now you'd be tempted just to try and wrap that wire around the pole, but I wouldn't do that because it's just going to mess it up. What you're going to do is you're going to take some wire like this, twist it up. This is somewhat rigid. Doesn't really matter. This also gives it strength. And you're basically going to put this up to here like this, and then you're going to use the wire to wrap around it. Like that. And then when you solder it, it just gives it more strength, so you don't rip it out. And take my wire cutters. There, that's the first one ready. Once I hit it with that hot soldering iron, it'll melt pretty good. There's one. Let me get the other ones ready. There's one. Yeah, this soldering gun does short work of jobs like this. I love it. I've had this one for quite a while, actually. Don't know if you can still pick them up. You probably can. This one is quite old. Plus, I got a what is it? A Mueller or Wooler? The black handle ones, the old 80s style. Not as good as the old one that I used to have, but it still does work. Go. See, this way also, if those phase wires get to the point where the solder does soften up, the wire wrapped around it will sort of help it keep from pulling away. But we are done. What's left to do now, just going to put this in the vise so it can cool. We're going to quickly run some shrink tubing over that. Just for a little added protection. Plus it looks nice and clean. Well, we're gonna call it quits here, guys. What I'll do is I'll do a second half. I'll wire up the exciter off camera, and then we'll do some testing on it with some different voltages and see how it spins. I don't want to make this video too long because, you know, YouTube's going to just hit you with like ad after ad after ad if you're not paying them to get rid of it. But there. That's basically how you get the face set up. Not much. Doesn't take much. Like I said, it depends on the model. Some of them will have 6 wires coming out, or even 7. Yeah, so cool. That'll make a good screenshot for this video. I'll call it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Later.